What if one skill could double your income? And most people are ignoring it. You've probably heard this before. English can change your life. But let's be honest, that sounds vague. So today, let's make it concrete. Let's talk about money. Instead of just theory, let's look at real patterns. In countries where English is not the native language, the difference becomes clear. People who can use English have access to global opportunities. Those who cannot are limited to local ones. And that difference directly affects income. This gap is most visible in non-English speaking countries. For example, in many countries like South Korea and India, English plays a key role in career growth. Professionals with strong English skills often have access to better positions and higher salaries. Now let's take a closer look. In India, the average monthly salary is often estimated to be around 20,000 to 40,000 rupees. That's roughly $250 to $500. But in industries like IT, where English is required, entry-level salaries can be 2 to 3 times higher. And experienced professionals can earn significantly more, especially when working with global companies. Same country, same economy, very different outcomes. The difference? English. These are not exceptions, these are patterns. But why does English increase income? There are 3 reasons. First, access to high-value work. Many of the highest-paying industries operate in English: technology, finance, consulting. If you can't use English, you can't enter those spaces. Second, communication at scale. When you speak English, you are not limited to your country. You can work with global clients, global teams, global markets. And when your market expands, your value increases. Third, scarcity. Not everyone can communicate in English at a professional level. That makes it valuable. And value is what determines income. Now you might be thinking, AI can translate almost everything, so why does English still matter? Because income is not based on translation. It is based on trust. And trust is built through direct communication. When you can speak clearly, think in real time, and respond naturally, you become someone people want to work with. AI can support you, but it cannot replace you. But let's go deeper. Being rich is not just about money. It's about options. Where you can work, who you can work with, what opportunities you can choose. English gives you more control over your life, and that is real wealth. But here's something important. English does not make you rich overnight. It requires consistency, and through that process, you build discipline. The ability to show up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when progress feels slow. Because motivation does not last. But discipline does. Discipline means you act anyway. And when you build that habit, it does not just improve your English, it changes how you approach everything. Your work, your habits, your future. You become someone who follows through. And that identity is far more valuable than any single skill. But most people fail here. They understand the value, but they do not take action. Or they start and stop. Because they treat English as something to study, not something to train. And without training, nothing changes. English is not something you know, it is something you do. And doing requires repetition. Consistent, active practice. Start small. You do not need hours. You do not need perfect conditions. You need consistency. Even 5 minutes a day. But make it active. Speak. Repeat. Train your brain to produce English in real time. That is the skill that creates value. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to wait. You just need to start. And once you do, your value begins to grow, slowly but surely, until one day you realize something. You are no longer limited in the same way. We hope this gives you a reason to keep going. Start today.